Welcome back, guys. Today I want to address the new stimulus check that was just approved. I also want to address the stimulus issues moving forward, what Nancy Pelosi just said moments ago on MSNBC, and the potential good news regarding a troubled and crippling stock market. So hopefully you're having a wonderful day. Let's get into it. Here's the great news. The great news is there is a new stimulus check coming to people in Colorado. Roughly 435,000 people in the state of Colorado will be receiving a stimulus check from their state. This was recently approved and it's going to help out many people. Colorado's Governor Jared Polis announced that the state will issue $375 stimulus checks to struggling residents. This means anybody that was on unemployment or makes less than $52,000 per year will receive a stimulus check in the amount of $375. This will only be for filers, and this will not be including dependents at this time. Now, I've been saying this for months, and I'm going to continue to say it. When states find the funding and the funding available to do things like this, they will. However, it does take the states a long time to come up with the funding. So, as of right now, if you are not a Colorado resident, don't worry. Other states will follow along. It just might take a little bit of time. But as states start to see the economy is crippling, they are going to do whatever they can to provide for their residents to hopefully bring the state back up to the level it once was before the pandemic. Now, as for the stimulus issues moving forward, they continue to remain the same. Right now, it's state and local government funding. They are apart. You got Nancy Pelosi, who wants $417 billion, and you got the Trump administration that will only issue $300 billion. So they're about $117 billion apart on just state and local government funding alone. The other issue is the language for testing and contact tracing. Right now, it is being reported that the committee chairs are still working on the language. The problem is, the Senate has gone home. The House has already been back in their home districts. So they are doing all of this negotiations. They're doing all of these talks. And these committee chairs are going back and forth through maybe Zoom calls, projectly through emails. And so right now it's not any one-on-one talk. This is not a negotiation where people are in the same room, which means it's going to take forever. So right now, we still don't have the language back from the committee chairs as to how they want to move forward with testing and tracing. And again, this is only 6 days before the election. So the chances of a stimulus package being agreed upon before the election is very small. The chances of a stimulus package being passed before the election is 0. However, even though the chances of a stimulus deal getting done before the election are very small, Nancy Pelosi did say this, which means she's optimistic in a way about stimulus. Nancy Pelosi had this to say on MSNBC just moments ago. What the president cares a lot about is the stock market, as he sees the market react to the spread of the virus and sees the market react to the fact that we do not have an agreement, which could inject resources into the economy. Hopefully now he will come to the table in a serious way. Now this could happen, and I honestly hope it does. However, I am predicting this will not really work. This could make a change. However, the change will most likely happen after the election, not before it. Reports are indicating that Nancy Pelosi, her goal right now is to stop President Trump from doing more rallies, to try to rally his people, rally his troops around the idea that President Trump is going to be the best option moving forward. And she wants him to stop that, to spend more time negotiating or speaking with Steve Mnuchin. This would allow Joe Biden more chances to pull ahead with the numbers. So, as of right now, based on what reports are saying, is that I doubt President Trump is going to stop his rallies just to begin negotiations at this time, which most are expecting would go absolutely nowhere. So, there is some good news about Election Day though, and this is something that a lot of people have been wondering. Why is Election Day so important? What is going to change on Election Day that the Congress couldn't also agree on now? Well, the fact of the matter is this. Everything is going to change on Election Day. Right now, we have so much uncertainty. Nancy Pelosi believes Democrats are going to sweep, meaning Democrats will hold the majority in the House, in the Senate, and also Joe Biden will win the presidency. Republicans, on the other hand, are predicting they will win the Senate and they will win the presidency. President Trump will be reelected. If this happens, it changes the dynamics on the stimulus negotiations completely. If Congress, let me just put this into perspective. Okay, I had to write all this down because there's so many things going on, so many things that are different that make changes. Little tweaks will make complete changes. If Congress remains unchanged, that means President Trump is still in office. Republicans still hold the power in the Senate, and Democrats hold all the power in the House. Then nothing really changes. Nothing really changes except for Republicans now have a little bit more power because they can now kind of pressure Nancy Pelosi into accepting a smaller stimulus deal or the 1.9 stimulus package that President Trump currently has on the table. If Democrats win over the Senate, then Democrats will hold the majority of the power. This means that it doesn't matter who wins the election, okay? Doesn't matter who wins it. But if the Democrats hold all the power in the House and hold all the power in the Senate, then they will hold the majority of the power, and chances are they will get one of their stimulus package passed. That means we will most likely need to accept a $2.2 trillion stimulus package or something even higher. If Joe Biden wins and the Democrats win over the Senate and the Democrats also remain in control of the House, then Democrats would hold all the power. The problem here is this is what the stock market and many experts are predicting, that Joe Biden will win. And if Joe Biden wins, Joe Biden would not be the next president of the United States until January 20th of 2021. So that means we got to get through all of November, all of December, and most of January in order to see the next president put into office. This right here would be devastating to many people because it would mean the chances of President Trump doing another round of stimulus would be very small unless the stock market began to drop quickly like it already has. I remember waking up this morning, looking at my phone, and seeing that the stock market was dropping again. This is something that happens all the time. This is something that I'm used to. I end up putting more money into the stock market, and I'm fine with that. I end up losing quite a bit of money today. However, I'm fine with that. I'm up on all my stocks. I have been making a good amount of money. And if you want to do this exact same thing, okay, what I'm doing right now when we see red days, and this is something I've been doing for years, when the stock market drops, when we see a decline, I buy more. It's going to decline again tomorrow, I'm going to buy more. It's going to decline again on Friday, I'm going to buy more. I'm going to keep buying on red days until eventually we see multiple green days and everything goes up. If you want to do this, I'll put a link down in the description box below so you can go and open a free Webull account. If you open a free Webull account before the end of October and deposit $100, Webull will give you 3 free stocks valued up to $1,600 a piece. Now, here's the good news about a possible stock market decline, is that President Trump is going to be more inclined to pass a comprehensive stimulus package during his lame duck sessions if companies are on the verge of bankruptcy and closure. Right now, there are multiple companies, multiple airlines, multiple businesses, hotel chains, restaurants, so on and so forth, that are on the verge of a collapse, on the verge of a potential closure. Today we got word that Boeing will lay off an additional 7,000 workers very soon and is expected to drop about 20,000 more employees over the course of 2021. By the end of 2021, they are estimated to get down to only 130,000 employees. At the beginning of 2020, they were at 160,000, which means they are going to be laying off a decent amount of workers. Right now, with everything that is going on, it really reminds me of the 2008 housing collapse. In 2008, Congress did all they thought they needed to do in order to get the economy to bounce back to where it once was. However, this was not enough, and it didn't provide a quick recovery like many people, like many economists predicted. So, we learned from 2008. Hopefully, now in 2020, 2021, we will see a quicker recovery. Currently, experts predict that without a stimulus check, a $1,200 stimulus check to the American people, millions of people will run out of money by the beginning of December. Families will no longer be able to afford the most basic essentials, food, soap, toothpaste, toilet paper, things like that, and parents won't have the money needed to send their children to school with the proper supplies and the adequate attire. Experts also predict if no PPP funding gets passed soon and gets sent out very soon, hundreds of thousands of small businesses will go completely under, sending millions of employees to the unemployment line, which as of right now, there's no federal unemployment plus up. It's not there. So, millions and millions of people will now be making less money on unemployment than they did at their previous job, which again is going to send the economy into a downward spiral. Also, owners of these businesses will be saddled with debts they cannot pay off, which means the likelihood of more bankruptcies is going to increase, and states will be hurting due to the fact that they lost revenue from lost taxes. If no funding makes its way to schools before 2021, many schools will be unable to continue to provide necessary resources for their students, i.e., laptops and internet. Schools won't be able to afford proper protective equipment, meaning in-person classes probably won't happen until the fall of 2021 at the earliest. What you can see is that stimulus is more than just a need or a want at this point. It is a need for millions of Americans, and Congress is currently nowhere to be found. We hear rumors, we hear advice, we hear finger pointing all the time. But what are they truly doing? Many people are saying that this recession is nothing like anybody has ever seen. We are seeing record job losses, we are experiencing countless business closures, and we are seeing very little leadership from our government officials. Right now, the economy is truly in a downward spiral with no end in sight. If things weren't bad enough, cities, counties, and states are now imposing more mandates for businesses and larger gatherings. Just the other day, Idaho rolled back from a stage 4 to stage 3 on their reopening plan, meaning they will limit large gatherings and also dining and bars. This is a big difference. Idaho does not have a mask mandate. However, they have been seeing an increase in cases, and so their governor, Governor Little, decided now's the time. We need to stop this before it gets any worse. Chicago has also suspended all eating at bars and restaurants. That's indoor eating. This means, and being Chicago gets very cold, and chances are they will most likely see snow very soon. I don't know if they have seen snow yet. If any of you live in Chicago or know for a fact, has Chicago seen any snow yet this year? If they have, and there's no indoor dining, I guarantee you, this mandate, the suspension of all indoor eating at bars and restaurants, is going to devastate their economy, and there's going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of restaurants and businesses that are closing down very soon. And in the South, this is tough. This happens every year. In the South, they are experiencing more hurricanes that are going to hammer their states. The newest hurricane is called Hurricane Zeta, which is happening right now. The rise of COVID cases doesn't seem to be slowing down. Without a vaccine, guaranteed treatments, and more strict safety protocols, experts warn that Americans could see can still be in this pandemic until summer 2021. I know I don't want to be inside and social distancing from family and friends for another 8 months, but I will do whatever I have to do in order to protect myself, beat the virus, and make it through this pandemic. Now, as I know more, I promise I will share more, but that is all we got for today. That is your second stimulus check update and stimulus package news for Wednesday, October 28th. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful day. Do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's video. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you guys on the next one.